Today we will be discussing the positive effects nutrition can have on a person in a stressful environment. To do this, we must first define what stress is. The American Institute of Stress defines stress as a condition or feeling experienced when a person perceives that demands exceed the personal and social resources the individual is capable of mobilizing. This is a very contextual definition, and it will vary greatly from person to person, depending on their background and how the person has been conditioned to deal with stress in the past. Light stress can be useful to the human body, as we see in this image from the American Institute of Stress. Light stress results in increased performance and productivity, but if it's left unchecked, it will cause exhaustion, poor health, and decreased productivity. When subjected to stress, the endocrine system starts the production of epinephrine and cortisol. As the epinephrine moves through your body, it will trigger a series of reactions from each different system, such as a tensing of the muscles, an increased heart rate, increased breathing, and the suspension of digestive and immune systems. So now we know what stress is and what's going on in our body when it's placed under stress. But what's happening in our brain? When the cortisol released by our adrenal glands reaches the brain, it stimulates neurons in our hippocampus. These neurons utilize serotonin. This heightened level of serotonin activity would be fine on its own, but remember, it's not on its own. Our body has altered the process of digestion. This results in a deficit of tryptophan, the chemical which is used to produce serotonin. Deficits of tryptophan result in lowered serotonin levels. This is linked to issues with controlling mood, stress, poor performance, and depression. So how do we get our serotonin levels back to where we need them to be? Studies have shown that consuming certain foods containing specific nutrients can stimulate serotonin production. Foods high in carbohydrates are known to trigger this production. Examples of healthy and carbohydrate-dense foods include eggs, nuts, cheese, and potatoes. Okay, so how do we get from eating eggs and cheese to low stress levels? We need to get to that point where serotonin levels have been replenished. Consuming carbohydrates kick off a series of events within the body which lead to this serotonin production. First, our bodies react to the high amount of carbohydrates by digesting them. This results in an increase in insulin production as part of the digestion process. Increased insulin within our bodies leads to a decrease in large neutral amino acid levels. This creates the perfect environment to allow for an increase in the uptake of tryptophan. Tryptophan, you may remember, is the chemical used in the production of serotonin. Once tryptophan reaches the brain, it is converted and begins to replenish serotonin levels. At this point, you will feel your ability to cope with stress improve greatly. So by consuming the right nutrients in stressful situations, we can create the ideal environment within our bodies for coping with or reducing our overall stress levels. On a final note, I would like to say it is important to pay attention to what you're eating in these high-stress environments, not just because it can help your stress levels. It can also lead to poor decision-making, which can cause a lot of harm to you. If you're an emotional eater like me, studies have shown you're at a much higher risk of consuming sweet or fatty foods when subject to stress. So next time you're under stress and you're feeling the craving for brownies, cookies, or Snickers bars, don't grab them. Grab some nuts, some boiled eggs, some cheese instead. These foods will help reduce your stress levels and help those cravings dissipate.